Moin Leute, wir schauen uns heute Bryan Cranston breaks down his most iconic characters. GQ. Da redet er darüber, so über seine ganzen Schauspiel-Dinger. Breaking Bad, Malcolm mittendrin, Abfahrt. Ich hol mir erstmal noch was zu trinken. Ey yo, Mr. White! Was machst denn du bei GQ? Bei dir läuft aber. Habt ihr das Lied bemerkt? Das ist das gleiche, als zum ersten Mal Walter Jesse sieht, als Jesse von der DA verschwindet von dem Girl das Haus und dann vom Dach runterfliegt.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
I couldn't find Walter White's emotional core and I was struggling.
Ey, erstmal Bryan Cranston, super Schauspieler. Jeder hat ihn wahrscheinlich so, oder die meisten von euch haben den meisten zuerst bei Malcolm mittendrin gesehen. Ja? Aber dann mit Breaking Bad. Krassesten Rollen aller Zeiten. Als ich das zum ersten Mal gesehen habe, das war 2018? Schon sehr spät nach dem Ende, so 5 Jahre nach dem Ende. Ich habe schon natürlich viele Sachen gehört. Als ich das dann zuerst mal gesehen habe, auch mit meiner Mutter zusammen. Heftig. Sogar die einzige Serie, die ich zweimal geschaut habe. Eigentlich schaue ich Serien nicht so zweimal, aber bei Breaking Bad musste ich. Ich hab's meinem Vater gezeigt.
And then all of a sudden it hit me. It's calloused over. He doesn't even know what it is. It's a rock in his soul.
Sonst Breaking Bad, Malcolm mittendrin. Bei Driver mit Ryan Gosling war er auch. Sonst habe ich nichts von ihm geschaut.
Breaking Bad.
You got one part of that wrong. This is not meth.
I will say this up front, that the lion's share of Walter White was really the imagination of Vince Gilligan. He's genius, and he laid out a beautiful template for me to step in. I remember going to my wife. I always get her counsel because we're together. Whatever I do affects her. So I wanted to get her input on it. And I said to her, just know that this show would shoot in Albuquerque, New Mexico, if it were to happen. And I handed her the script, and she started reading the script, and I would peek in to see every once in a while, and she was like, boom, 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 to the end. And right when she got near the end, I came back into the room, and like, and she went, shit. She just said shit, and I knew that was her approval.
Chemistry is...
Wach. Ey, wirklich. Albuquerque? Davor, keine Ahnung. Albuquerque? Es würde mich echt interessieren, wie viele Menschen wegen Breaking Bad und dann auch wie Better Call Saul nach Albuquerque gegangen sind. Ich möchte nach Albuquerque. Ich möchte mal nach Albuquerque. Das ist so ähnlich wie Herr der Ringe. Ich möchte mal nach Neuseeland.
Well, technically, chemistry is the study of matter. But I prefer to see it as the study of change. Now, just think about this.
I started out that character very meek, very, submissive and passive, a pushover, because he didn't know who he was. And that's why, then once I got that, I went, oh, he should be a little overweight. The love handles, he should be pasty white. He should have a mustache that looks like, either grow one or cut it. One or the other. And then I called it an impotent mustache. And I know how to shape an impotent mustache, if anyone's interested. If a mustache drops below the creases of the lips, no, that gets badass. That gets nasty. So you have to make sure that's always above the crease of the lips, and you thin it out so you can see skin underneath it. And it doesn't look as masculine. It just seems
Wie ein netter Familienvater.
the point. Well, I was always looking for those what's the point. And I chose my clothes in conversations with the costume designer to select clothes that blend in the wall. Beiges, off-whites, pastels, soft yellows, things like that, sand color. Anything he disappeared. He was a nobody. I took all the color highlights out of my hair, which it was kind of brown with kind of reddish highlights. Took it all out, just deadened it, took the color out of my face. You know, all of a sudden you start to see yourself, and you put on those clothes, and you go, I know you. Let's go play.
WW. I mean, who you figure that is, huh? Walter White?
Ah, you got me.
You got me.
Aber echt krass, wie viel er auch selber gemacht hat für sein Charakterauftreten, so wie er aussieht. Sowieso Kostüm, Outfits und besonders Hairstylist bei Breaking Bad und Better Call Saul. Stabil. Alle Glatze. Alle Glatze.
If success and fame and celebrity never came, I'd be fine because I was making a living. I was doing what I loved to do, and I had a great family, so it was okay. Now, all of a sudden, this happens, and you have to learn how to deal with it because you're not ever taught how to become a celebrity, how to handle yourself as a famous person. It's almost like when you become a parent for the first time. You just have to trial and error. Had Malcolm in the Middle been picked up for an 8th season, someone else would have played Walter White because I would not have been available. But that summer is when
Die Story habe ich auch schon gehört.
First read his script, Vince's script for Breaking Bad.
Malcolm in the
Middle.
Das ist auch krass einfach, was der für eine Range hat von verschiedenen, also netter Familienvater, Sitcom, Breaking Bad, komplettes Drama.
Yeah, I seriously, such a shame to just dump.
Und das sagt man ja auch öfters, dass Comedy-Schauspieler voll krass sind, weil die wissen, wie man Comedy macht, und das ist das Schwerste, Comedy gut schauzuspielen, also witzig zu sein. Und Comedy-Schauspieler können auch voll gut, aber auch Drama machen. Das sieht man auch bei voll vielen, auch Breaking Bad-Schauspielern. Bob Odenkirk, Saul, hat vorher auch Skits gemacht, Shows und so weiter, so Comedy-Shows. Bam, Saul Goodman. Hank hat vorher auch so Sitcoms gemacht.
Dump this in the trash. Maybe birds would like to make nests with it, or I don't know, maybe you boys could use it for school projects. Arms up.
Dude.
I came up with a philosophy that is the most important thing that I try to extend to younger generations of actors, and that is you're not going into an audition trying to get a job. You're going there to do a job. Hold your power and then give it to them and allow them to take it and do what they will with it. Those decisions about who might get a job or not are not for you to decide. So don't waste an ounce thinking about that. I was testing for 3 pilots, all comedies. I had this philosophy, so I wasn't worried. And then another one comes up for Fox called Malcolm in the Middle.
What's to make $5?
How?
I need someone to take the fall.
Oh my God!
Make it 10.
Done.
Oh my God!
You're a good son. I got him, honey!
The distinction here for Hal, playing off of this bombastic, aggressive woman, Lois, don't compete with her. Do not try to match her. So I started to think what would be a complementary characteristic for Hal would be perhaps the opposite of her. What is she lacking? Oh, she's lacking subtlety, softness, sweetness, quiet. So I went, oh, she's fearless. So I'm fearful of everything. And I just started putting these out, and I went, oh, that's a character. I'm developing a character here. So I just let it all sit within him. And the last bit was, no one wants to see a person who's indifferent to their family, who can care less, or whoever's doing whatever. So I made a distinction that Hal was not disinterested in his family. He was distracted by things. And I loved the fact that we were a married couple and my character was madly in love with his wife. That was a nice thing to see on television.
Also natürlich logisch, dass man als Eltern natürlich Gegensätze macht. Wäre langweilig, wenn beide Eltern gleich sind.
Well, I was naked and covered in blue paint. I was strapped to the front of a moving bus. I was
Auch im Back im Bett. Die ganze Zeit mit der Schlipper draußen.
hung upside down and tortured. I had 10,000 honeybees on me at one time. So it just went on and on and on. They said, what would you do? I learned how to roller skate and did a roller skating episode. It was just a glorious time because who gets to do that? I got to play. I went to work to play. I first proposed the idea of a reunion movie. The creator of the show, Linwood Boomer, is warming to it. If we come across an idea that all of us feel is really valid, not just, I have no interest to keep busy or pick up a paycheck. I want to do something that, man, that's a great idea. And we get to see these people 20 years later. You know, all the boys are now at least in their 30s. They're all grown men, married, children.
Der Melke, der ist Rennfahrer. Der ist Rennfahrer. Der ist Rennfahrer geworden.
You know, it's just an extraordinary situation for me. In fact, a couple of them are nearing the age I was when I played the dad of those kids. Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Habe ich schon mal gehört, nie gesehen.
Is it Jerry Seinfeld?
Hey, he didn't come with us.
Tim, the pencil. Jerry!
Hey, Tim.
Jerry!
I didn't think you'd show. Did you say, Jerry, I didn't think you'd show? Or Jerry, I didn't think you'd show?
The audition
Oder diese Lacher. Diese Lacher im Hintergrund.
for Seinfeld was great. Did it first for the
Könnte man sich heute gar nicht mehr vorstellen.
casting director, Meg Lieberman. And then for the callback, Jerry was in the room. And the goal of any actor is to, man, if I can get him to laugh, that's the thing. And I got him. Hey, that was funny. And then they call me back, and they call me back, and again and again and again and again. And pretty soon you have a recurring role on that. And I looked different on each episode because I went off and did other things. And so I had a beard, I didn't have a beard. I had long hair, I had short hair. I had a crew cut, I had a mustache, it's fun, the life of an actor. And they never bothered explaining, why does Watley look so different every time we see him? The precision in which Jerry and Larry would craft a joke or a moment, a beat, was just awe-inspiring. And of course, Julia and Jason and Michael were brilliant comedians. And so no matter who was acting in any scene at any given time, I'm watching brilliance. So even if I only had 2 scenes in something, I'm watching the rest of the show, all through rehearsal, all through taping nights, just to be there, to soak it up. You're
Ja,
on.
Anna. Das ist irgendwie in Politik, glaube ich. Auf Prime läuft das.
Where have you been, counselor?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Sure, but you were also late yesterday morning, so what's the answer to my question?
I have a problem.
Getting out of bed in the morning?
Your Honor is something that got me with the concept of the first season, which was, as a parent myself, being asked, what would you do to save the life of your child? And the answer that any parent would answer, as far as I know, is anything. I would do anything. The follow-up question, as I started to get into the character, was, would I become a criminal if I really felt that by doing so, I would protect my child? Yep, I would become a criminal. And that's the story of Michael Desiato in Your Honor. And actors in general are novices at everything except playing other people. So whenever we start a character, it's always outside of us. And you need to trust that through work and through your ability and through your imagination and your availability of your emotional treasure chest, you'll be able to put it all together. First season ended tragically. So the second season, we flip it, and it becomes about a man exploring despair. When tragedy strikes, it has a ripple effect on many people around, not just the immediate family, but that first inner circle, then the second and third, people that you work with. If you worked with someone who lost a child, that relationship is going to change. And I hope that when people watch this who are experiencing that particular condition or have, maybe, perhaps, they're curious to see how one person handles it and make adjustments in their life to see if there is a life beyond tragedy. Drive.
Ah, es heißt Drive, nicht Drive.
Director wants to see a rollover. You okay with that? Remember, if you don't feel good, just abort the shot. There's no shame in that, all right? I mean, you're doubling for the start, like a day player or anything. And I got you 500 more, huh? Of course, we split that. You okay? Ready to go? All right.
Ryan's.
Auch so ein guter Film. Auch der Soundtrack. A real human being. Das war so schön.
Character he was a thoughtful man and an expert driver, and he wasn't very talkative, and so I thought, well, I think it would be kind of.
Die eine Szene. Wo da so ein Supermarkt ist, geht so. Sieht so die Mutter mit dem Kind.
Interesting to counter that I'm a bit too talkative. And also it made sense because a person who's too talkative often talks themselves into trouble, says something they shouldn't have said, does something they shouldn't have done. And that's what my guy was. He was just, you kind of want to slap him and go, just shut the hell up sometime, will you? Calm down.
I can build a car in 6 months, and in 6 seconds, these jerks write it off as a stunt that won't even make it into the movie. See, all I need is a hard-use stock car. That's all. Now, I figure we start off with a small-town circuit and we work our way up.
Stunt coordinators and stuntmen in general are rough and tumble. They're a bit crazy, and they'll probably even tell you that themselves, to do what they do. The broken bones, the abrasions, the contusions that they get in doing their work every single day. And so I thought this guy was a tough kid, probably a kid who jumped off his roof being a spaceman, jumped off balconies into pools when he was a teenager, things like that. He was the guy, watch this, he's that guy, And so I said, I think he's from a Midwestern town. So I made him from, the Chicago area, and I put the hard R in there. And he's just one of those guys. It said he had a limp, and I wanted it to make it germane to his life. And so I pitched that Ron Perlman character, that he did it to me. Make it specific, so we have to deal with him again, and I don't like this guy.
Take a fucking hike. I want to talk to my partner. I'm just fucking with you. How you doing, Shannon? How's the fucking leg?
I paid my debt.
I'll think about it.
The character that Albert Brooks played, he and I loved each other, too. He really had an affinity for me. I think in the original script, he came behind me with a garroting wire and choked me. It's a very violent death, to be choked, right? It's like, you have to have someone behind you, and it's like you have to have this aggressive move. And there's something that just didn't feel right. And I don't know, it was bugging me. I let it go. And one night I had this dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night going, oh my God, I got it. Oh my God. Do you know where the handshake came from? The handshake came from showing you have no weapon. I show you, we may not know each other, but I show you We have no weapon. And out of that came the clasp to say, I don't have a weapon either. And two men with no weapons can say, okay, truce, peace, right? I said, what if I see him in my garage and we're like, oh, and I'm not quite sure. But he's talking very casually. And he's talking like, I'm sorry this worked out this way. It just didn't work out. That,
Und dann,
you know, it's the way it goes. But hey, I wish you well, you know, kind of thing. And he holds out his hand, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's gonna let me go. Oh, great. And that handshake, and as soon as I touch his hand, he turns my wrist. With his other hand comes out a knife, and he slices my arm. And I'm in shock. And then immediately he starts to put me at ease, to assuage my fears, to not let me drop, but lower me down, caress my head against the bumper, not let me hit it, and just kind of comfort me. It's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And I pitched that, and Nicholas is going, that's in the movie. We're gonna do that. That's in the movie, because he had the thought of making Albert Brooks's character a knife collector anyway. And he said, this is so perfect for him to do in his milieu, his way of doing it. And that's how I died.
Saving Private Ryan. Habe ich auch nicht geschaut. Wo ist so viel Haare? Im Film war er drin? Ja, das Gleiche. Tolles Video. Tolles Video. Hat Spaß gemacht, zuzuschauen, zuzuhören. Bryan Cranston, toller Schauspieler. Denke mal, wir sind uns einig, seine beste Rolle ist Walter White. Wenn euch das Video gefallen hat, liked das Video, lasst ein Abo da, schreibt einen Kommentar, schaut euch meine anderen Videos an, auch auf dem Hauptkanal. Folgt mir auch auf Twitch. Bye bye.